Hey friends, it's time for another second grade math cheat code. This one's called Rearrange It. Here's a little chant to help you remember how to use this cheat code. When you don't know what to do, here's a trick that's just for you. Label your numbers big and small, then you can rearrange them all. The smaller ones like to trade space, but the big one always knows his place. So take those numbers, don't get stuck. When you're not sure, just mix them up. This is a cheat code that you can use when you're not sure how to solve a tricky number sentence. Let's look at how to use it. When we are adding, we always start with a small number and add another small number. So we're adding two pieces together. Think about a cookie. So we'll add a small piece of a cookie to another small piece of a cookie. When we add those two small numbers together, we'll get a big number or the whole cookie. So anytime you add, the first two numbers in your number sentence will be the small numbers, and the last one after the equal sign will be your biggest number. When we subtract, we always start with the biggest number. We start with the whole cookie. Then we take away a piece of that cookie, or we take away one of our small numbers. Once we do that, we'll have the other piece, or the other small number left. Now, our cheat code says that the small numbers like to trade places, but the big one always knows his space. So the small numbers can trade, but the big number, the big whole cookie, has to stay in the same spot. So when we're adding, the big number is always at the end after the equal sign. And when we're subtracting, the big number always comes first. But the small numbers can trade places and the number sentence will still be true. Now we can use this cheat code to turn an addition number sentence into a subtraction number sentence, or a subtraction number sentence into an addition number sentence. We just have to remember where the small numbers go and where the big number goes, and that the small numbers can trade places. Let's look at some examples. Here's our first tricky number sentence. It says 7 plus blank equals 13. Now, if I want to solve this and I'm not sure what to do because I know I could start with 7, but I don't know how many more to add, I could try to rearrange this number sentence to make it a little easier for myself. So first, we're going to label our numbers big and small. In order to do that, we need to remember that we are adding. And when we add, the first two numbers are small, and we add those two numbers together to get our big number, which is always at the end. So I can label my numbers big and small. So small number plus small number equals big number. Now, I can rearrange those. I could switch the small numbers places, or I could turn this addition number sentence into a subtraction number sentence, since I know my biggest number and one of my small numbers. So I could rearrange them to start with the big number and subtract the small number that I know to get the number that I'm missing. Watch how I flip these around. Now I have a subtraction number sentence. Big minus small equals small. And this one's a lot easier to solve because I know I can start with 13 and take away 7 to get my answer. Let's try another example. This number sentence says 15 minus blank equals 9. You might be stuck on this one because you're starting with 15, but you're not sure how many to take away. So I would look and see that this is a subtraction number sentence. And we know subtracting always starts with the big number. You take away a small number to get the other small number. So I can label my numbers big and small. And I could turn this into an addition number sentence, or I could just swap my small number places. Remember, the small numbers like to trade space. So I could turn this into 15 minus 9 equals blank. And that's a lot easier to work with. Now you're ready to use this cheat code. Remember, when you're adding, you add two small numbers together to get a big number. When you're subtracting, you start with the big number and take away a small number to get the other small number. Great job.